Welcome. We're exploring Joseph's story today. It's dramatic, powerful, and really points beyond just the events themselves.
Yeah, there's this incredible sense of divine purpose running underneath everything.
But it's important, I think, to start honestly. Joseph wasn't, well, perfect right out of the gate.
Oh, definitely not. He was the favorite, sure. But that coat, it symbolized a position he hadn't really earned yet. At 17, he was quite spoiled, full of that youthful, pride.
Absolutely. It's right there. He's tattling on his brothers, bringing back these evil reports.
Right.
And those dreams. You can almost feel Jacob's reaction like, okay, son, settle down, when Joseph talks about the sun, moon, and stars bowing to him.
He just kept broadcasting them, didn't he? It wasn't just having the dreams, it was rubbing his brother's noses in it. The arrogance was, well, pretty thick.
So thick, even his own father rebuked him. Questioned why the whole family should bow down.
Exactly. So you had this quite arrogant young man.
So how do we get from that Joseph to the one who saves Egypt? That's the fascinating part. God doesn't just discard him for the pride.
No, instead there's this intense shaping process. Discipline through, well, extreme suffering,
Hmm.
slavery, the false accusation from Potiphar's wife, prison.
Wait a minute, though. Sold by his family, false imprisonment. That seems less like discipline and more like, well, sheer human evil. How is God's will even in that picture?
That's where providence is key. God's working behind the scenes, arranging things without, forcing anyone's choices.
So the suffering wasn't meaningless, even in the pit, even in prison.
Not at all. It confirms the Lord was with Joseph. Right there in the middle of it all. It felt like betrayal, like chaos, but God was positioning him.
Okay, so it wasn't just punishment then, it was preparation.
Precisely. God was developing his character. Killing that pride through delay, testing his integrity under pressure. He learned management skills first in Potiphar's house, then basically running the prison system.
From entitled kid to competent manager, that's quite the arc.
And you see the result, crystal clear, when he finally stands before Pharaoh. All that earlier arrogance, gone.
Right. He says, "It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace." Total humility.
He refuses to promote himself. He points straight to God. And then God promotes him prison to second in command. It's a powerful picture of how promotion truly comes from God.
So he was kind of like a worker, an instrument in God's bigger project.
You could say that. God developed to tool Joseph's character before giving him the huge responsibility. He served faithfully wherever he landed and in God's timing.
He was lifted up. Which brings us to that amazing statement he makes to his brothers later on.
Yes, the core message, really. He looks them in the eye and says, essentially, you guys meant this for evil.
But God meant it for good, to save many lives. That sums up the entire journey, doesn't it? God weaving good out of human failure and sin.
And if you zoom out, you see these patterns repeating, right? Rejected by his own, sold for silver, falsely accused, then raised to power.
It's more than just Joseph's personal story.
Much more. It played a vital redemptive role, preserving Jacob's family through the famine. That was crucial.
Because that family line had to survive.
Exactly. It secured the lineage leading eventually to the Messiah. Joseph, through his suffering and exaltation, was instrumental in that.
So, thinking about this for you listening, what does Joseph's life show us?
It proves God's plan works through suffering, and, importantly, through really flawed people. We aren't disqualified by our mistakes.
And that suffering isn't necessarily punishment, it can be preparation. God's plan isn't fragile, it pushes through human messes.
It's like a river, finding its course no matter the obstacles.
So the big takeaway then?
It has to be trusting the process. God's providence often feels confusing, even painful when you're in the middle of it, the pit, the prison, whatever your equivalent is.
But it doesn't fail. And ultimately, Joseph's story shows the dream wasn't really about his own glory in the end.
No, it was always about God's glory, fulfilling his unchanging purpose across generations.